Day, September 14th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friend. I'm not wearing a hat today. I figure like I wear a hat all the time. I have all this beautiful hair like Samson. So, in honor of my mom and my dad who gave me this gorgeous lock of hair, no hat today.
Good looking guy, as are you, Tom Mazawey. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up, my friends? And Braylon, that makes you look like 10 years younger without the hat.
I appreciate that.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're a handsome man.
I like
I don't know why you're hiding yourself with the hat.
I like to switch up
If
sometimes.
anyone should have a hat on, it's me.
I like to switch it up sometimes, but for you guys are right. I will try not to wear as many hats as
You know, it's funny because earlier today I got a haircut.
I saw
here,
that.
my girl Becca, and you
Becca.
get the hot lather neck shave, and you get the nice scalp massage. Let me tell you, I was nearly sawing logs over there when I was getting that shampoo. And
that's so good.
Why don't you?
Hold on. I need hold on. For the brothers that don't understand that term, sawing logs,
Snoring.
Yeah, snoring. Sleeping.
Okay.
It's an old school.
My apologies. I was just trying to get to the
Snoring.
bottom of that.
I'll call
Sawing logs. I go, okay, I get it. Kind of like the old school Looney Tunes commercial that would have the guy snoring, his socks would roll all the way up, and then it would blow off almost and come back. Okay, I'm on point now.
Exactly. Guys, big show for you today. We've got Sam Webb, host and publisher of the Michigan Insider. Sam's going to join us because I wanted an outside perspective on the inside. Right?
Yeah.
We sit here.
Inside.
We sit here and we talk about, our things and what we think. Just wanted to get his perspective on a topic that we talked about yesterday, Braylon, and it got tons of play online.
No, really?
And honestly,
anything
there,
we say.
There were some Michigan fans that were like, "Oh gosh, can't we have nice things?" And like a couple of Michigan fans that were annoyed, but most of the backlash in our JJ McCarthy take was from Michigan State fans, which
shocking.
I'm not going to pay any attention.
Refresh the take.
So the take was that I believe that JJ McCarthy has everything that you could possibly want and has the potential, and when it's all said and done, could be the best quarterback ever to play at Michigan.
Yeah.
And that was exclusively at Michigan. I'm not talking about Tom Brady and his 7 rings in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. Tom Brady, to be honest with you, wasn't all that great at the University of Michigan. 10th in career passing touchdowns with just 35 passing touchdowns in 4 years at Michigan. Tom Brady was 10th in single season passing yards.
Yeah.
Tom Brady never threw for over 2,500 yards at Michigan. And I say this because the quarterback position at the University of Michigan has not been some crazy good position. It just has. You had guys get to the NFL, but Braylon, this is not, wide receiver. This is not defensive back. Quarterback position has been relatively ho-hum. The bar is low, pretty much, so to speak, to become Michigan's all-time best quarterback. I think J.J. McCarthy has the opportunity to do that.
100%, you're correct. You're talking to a guy that played at the University of Michigan with 2 of the best quarterbacks on this list, talking about John LeBar and Chad Henne. Let me just back it up, man. There's nothing wrong with the tape that you had as you look at the single-season passing yards. John LeBar is all-time with 3,331 in the season. 2003, Shea Patterson, 3,061, Jay Gruden, 3,017, and then, of course, Tom Brady, just to show you the differences at number 10, 2,586 yards in 1999. There's nothing wrong. When you go back and look at it, I had to go back and do some research. Now, when you say best of all time, it doesn't have anything to necessarily do with stats. It doesn't. It's who's the best quarterback, who's the best player, who's the most special player when you go position by position. Just looking at this, Elvis Gerback, 6,400, 60 yards, 71 touchdowns, 4 Big Ten championships. I think you look at that, that's immeasurable. Won a Rose Bowl championship. Had Desmond Howard, who won the Heisman, who he helped get to win the Heisman that year. So you got to go there. Chad Henne only won 1 Big Ten championship, although he's the league leader or he's the school leader in yards for career. John Navarre, second. He had 2 Big Ten championships. 3, if you want to count the one won by Drew Henson. You go down that list. The big thing that I look at and why it's so wide open and so why you're so on point with making that statement, none of those guys were special. Like when you think back to Elvis Gerback, you don't think back to Elvis Gerback. You know who you think about?
Desmond Howard.
You think about Derek Alexander. Then you think about the Heisman Trophy winner, Desmond Howard, like you said. Then you think about Ricky Powers. Then you think about Tyrone Williams' first couple of years. When you think of the quarterbacks in Michigan history, you don't think of the quarterbacks. You think of the players they played with. Look at Chad Henne. First thing that comes to mind.
Mike Hart.
100%. And if it's not Mike Hart, Chad Henne's best year, his freshman year. Who was his wide receivers his freshman year?
You.
So when you look, you go to Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, okay, his stats were A-okay, not that special.
Can I make this point about Chad Henne real quick?
Go ahead, please.
Chad Henne got worse every single year at Michigan. His touchdown passes, most as a freshman, second most as a sophomore, third most as a junior, fourth most as a senior. To me, that's not the best Michigan quarterback of all time. He got worse at Michigan as he went from freshman to senior year. Sorry, continue.
Not a problem.
Please.
I came ready to make this argument out the gate, so I'm not waiting to segment 2. We're going to have this discussion now and further on. I'm going to get mine out the way. Now I'm getting mine. So thinking about this conversation, you got to be special to be the best of all time. Nobody on this list is particularly special. Nobody on this list particularly stands out amongst the crowd. If you ask half the people that aren't from Michigan, they're like, yeah, I know you guys had Chad Henne. They can't even remember the quarterbacks of the past. Now, Elvis did win some games. He did win 4 Big Ten championships. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. So did Rick Leach. Rick Leach won 3. But none of these guys were the catalyst on the team. None of these guys were the driving force of the team. It's always been the running backs at the University of Michigan. John Navarre, Chris Perry finishes 4th in the Heisman. Chad Henne, Mike Hart, 1,456 yards in his freshman year. You go on and on. It's all. Jamie Morris was the catalyst for Jim Harbaugh. It's always been the running backs. And then in the fourth quarter, Lloyd, Gary Moeller, Bo. Then they turn to the wide receivers. Insert Dave Terrell. Insert Marquise Walker. Insert Amani Toomer. Insert myself. So none of these quarterbacks per se have been special. JJ has the potential to be special. Now, I broke this down with 2 other individuals who are the best quarterbacks at their particular schools. When we say JJ has the potential to be the best, that's just going by everyone on that offense on the offensive side of the ball, with the exception of Ron Bell, is coming back next year or has the potential to come back. So now you have offensive stability. You have 2 running backs. You have a wide receiver core. You have a quarterback that can run. You have a quarterback that proved to be efficient with the pass thus far in his young tenure. Look at this. You ready for this? Who's the all-time best quarterback, Maz, at LSU? Don't worry. Let me ask you some questions. Let me ask you some questions. Is it Matt Flynn? Is it Burt Jones? Is it Tommy Hodson? It used to be. Is it Jamarcus Russell? Is it Y.A. Tittle? Is it Rohan Davey? Is it Zach Mettenberger? No. It's a guy by the name of Joe B., who only played 2 years at LSU. 2,798 yards, 25 touchdowns his senior year, and his 5th year senior year. We know what he did. He rewrote the record books. Another guy. People said after this guy's freshman year, he had the potential to be the best quarterback in this SEC school's history. His freshman year, he threw for 358 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he rushed for 400 yards. His name was Tim Tebow, who played behind Chris Lee. Same thing they said about him is the same thing they're saying about J.J. McCarthy, or that we're saying. He has the potential. Now, Tim Tebow went out there, and he fulfilled the potential, and he is the best quarterback in Florida history. It's all about the potential and what you see in measurables and what's around him. It's not necessarily saying we're buying into the Kool-Aid of freaking Hawaii. It's the potential and the measurables. And the same thing was said about Connor Cook once upon a time ago when they said, oh, this guy can be better than Kirk Cousins. Who's the best quarterback in Michigan State history? It's Connor Cook, as they said his freshman year he could be.
And he played in the NFL quite a bit, and a guy that still's playing is Brian Hoyer. But to your point, Ryan, now when you're saying JJ could be the best, are you saying going to the pro game as well?
Yeah, well, look.
Because there's been one number 1 pick in Jim Harbaugh, 2 number 2s, and one number 3 pick. The rest of them are 5th, 6th, 7th rounders.
So when I say the best Michigan quarterback of all time, I'm talking about impact at Michigan at the position.
Just at college.
He's the guy in college, and he becomes a first-round draft pick.
There you go.
If you put this up right now, Michigan quarterbacks drafted to the NFL, you really just have Jim Harbaugh as a first-round pick.
That's it.
That's all you got.
Then you got Todd Collins.
Rick Leach is a guy that everybody mentions. 5th-round pick. So how good were you? 5th-round pick. Todd Collins. He was a 2nd-round pick. Really nice career in the NFL. Chad Henne, 2nd-round pick. I mean, when you think of, here's another good way to put it. When you think of the greatest players in Michigan football history, I guarantee you'll name me 50 guys before you name me a quarterback.
There's not a quarterback in the top 10.
Unless you can't keep yourself from saying Tom Brady.
Right.
But I've got numbers for you, and I'm going to take a break, and I'll show you. Tom Brady, as I mentioned, just look at single-season passing yards right here. He's 10th all time. That means there were 9 single seasons at quarterback that were better than his.
But he didn't play a lot.
And which also adds to my point. I don't think JJ's ever given this quarterback position back. I see the throws he makes. I see the wheels. He's as dynamic a quarterback as we have seen at Michigan, and I just think he's got all the tools. When you think of this Michigan offense, who do you think of?
J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy.
When you think of this Michigan team, who do you think of?
J.J. McCarthy.
I also think of their receivers, their running back, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards.
And that's always going to happen at Michigan, but I don't consider any of those guys.
Hey, listen, I don't think of J.J. McCarthy yet because he hasn't done it yet. He's played.
Well, neither is any of these guys on the team.
He's played a half a game. That's it, combined.
Maz, the conversation wasn't J.J. McCarthy has arrived. J.J. McCarthy is going to be the greatest. We didn't say he's going to be. It says he has potential to be the best. And he does. And when you think about this Michigan team, you do think about J.J. because nobody's been talking about Blake Corum.
But he's not the first guy I think of. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, he is. He's the only person we've been talking about. Yes, he is.
I just have not seen a quarterback with this skill set in my life. I just haven't. And because of that, I think he has the potential. I'm not saying he's playing wide receiver and I'm going to go compare him to Braylon Edwards. There is no Braylon Edwards on this list. There's just not at quarterback. There's no Charles Woodson on this list that I'm comparing him to. There's just not. Got to take a break. When we come back, more Michigan talk. I want to show you some statistics. Also, Sam Webb going to join us, a Michigan insider, publisher, and host. But first, a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health as well as addiction. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, and the S Word is for stigma because we are here as well as partnering with Sports Marketing Agency to destigmatize mental health as well as addiction. Sean Jordan and SMA do an amazing job of having the conversation. Check their podcast out and also go to thesportsma.com, thesportsma.com. Conversation, information in abundance.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
It's Big Frog. Get a free Woodward Sports T-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports T-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Stop in, tell them, ask them for one, and they will print you one right on the spot. Get your free T-shirt. Visit them online today at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, I want to do this real quick. I did some digging, which wasn't that hard, to be honest with you. No. And I wanted to see if I was so off base by this in talking about the best Michigan quarterbacks of all time. And honestly, is Chad Henne the best Michigan quarterback of all time? Is that really what we're talking about here? Let me just show you single season passing yards, which we saw. Single season passing yards, John Navarre, 3,300 yards. Tom Brady, there you go at the bottom, number 10. Career passing yards, Chad Henne started 4 years. 9,700 yards passing, John Navarre 92. And then there was a drop-off there with Elvis Gerbach. Tom Brady, 5,300 yards. Yeah. Single season passing touchdowns. The most ever in Michigan football history is 25. Tied with Chad Henne and Elvis Gerbach. 1991 and 04. John Navarre in 2003. I think I know a guy that caught a lot of those touchdown passes. He had 24. And then career passing touchdowns. 87 passing touchdowns for Chad Henne. John Navarre at 72. Tom Brady, 35 career passing touchdowns. So when you're talking about the greatest Michigan quarterback of all time, yes, I absolutely think that J.J. McCarthy will be better than Chad Henne and John Navarre. I honestly believe that because I think he's got the potential like we've never seen before. And I don't think this is that high of a bar to attain. And no disrespect to those guys. Just a different game back then, too. But I think J.J. McCarthy has the tools that we have not seen from a Michigan quarterback. And somebody threw out on Twitter yesterday, oh, you were saying the same thing about Joe Milton. We might have been saying the same thing about Joe Milton, and then we saw him play. You might have said the same thing about him when he was being recruited at Michigan and coming to Michigan, and then he got on the field at Michigan, and you quickly knew that this wasn't all that. This was not going to be that. So, yes, he's played a half a game. I think he's played more than half a game. I think we've seen enough from him to know that when it's all said and done, to me, he will be the greatest. And the reason why I think that is because I see a skill set in this kid that we have never seen in anybody on this list, period.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I look at it from that standpoint. When you say greatest and best are two different things, because you can do who's won the most, and then you can do who's the best, talent-wise. I remember Chad Henne's freshman year. I remember when Chad Henne started, because I was a wide receiver for that team at the time. And when he started winning, you should have heard Mitch Albom, and you should have heard Stoney, and you should have heard Woodward, and you should have heard these guys talking about his potential to be the best. Because they made the same argument as you back then. They said, well, who's Michigan quarterbacks really been in the past? Same conversation. Chad Henne's his first game, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns, nothing special. 240 yards the next game, lost to Notre Dame, nothing special. 162 yards the next game against San Diego State, 2 touchdowns. They were already saying, he has the talent. You know why? Because he came in as a 5-star out of Philly. So there's already he can do this. He should be this. And they started calling him, he had the chance or the potential to be the best quarterback in Michigan history. It's nothing different than what we're saying now. I keep using the Tim Tebow analogy. Same thing. Tim Tebow, JJ had similar stats outside of rushing in their first year. And everybody talked about Tim Tebow had the chance to be the best player or the best quarterback Florida's ever seen. Not only is he the best quarterback, he's the best player in college that Florida has ever seen. But you got to start somewhere, and he had the potential, and he went and filled the potential. Now, J.J. McCarthy, is he going to go fill it? We don't know. But does he have the potential? You're damn right.
the one thing about this, too, it's not Rick Leach's fault or Jim Harbaugh's fault that the game has changed and evolved over time either.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh was a first-round pick, but a lot of that is because they won championships and Jamie Morris was the running back and they had a hell of a defense. You know, the game has just evolved over the past 25 years to the point where I'm not even sure you're having this conversation with decades and decades past. I think this is of the last 25 years, who's the best Michigan quarterback? Because it's just such a different game where the skill set and the position has changed so much. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts, the way he was playing quarterback out there for Philadelphia. I mean, that guy wasn't around 30 years ago.
I also
running around like that.
I also
40 years ago.
And this isn't anybody knocking anybody. Look, I played with Chad. Chad helped me be first-round pick, 3rd overall. Thank you, Chad. This ain't a knock on Chad or Navarre or Gerbeck. Shit, Gerbeck won 4 Big Ten championships, and think about this. He won 4 Big Ten championships and Bo's only Rose Bowl. So if you want to go by winning, Elvis is the best in terms of winning, but it's the potential. Chad Henne, he had Jake Long. This is after I left as well. He had Jake Long was the left tackle on that team. He had Steve Breston and Jason Avant, Mario Manningham, Adrian Arrington, Junior Hemingway, and the list goes on. And every year he took a step backwards from what he did his first year. Every year, and you're talking about Mario Manningham, one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. He was that good in college. Adrian Arrington was better than Mario as a full receiver in college. Jason Avant, one of the probably the best hands I've ever seen, and then Steve Breston, probably the best return I've ever seen. He had all that, and he took steps backward. That's why I say it's not necessarily hard to be the best moving into this new era that we're moving in, where they're passing the ball more around and the offense is changing a little bit.
And if that's the case, he'll be the first-round pick. A couple of years from now, he'll be the first-round pick at quarterback Michigan has had since Jim Harbaugh in 1987. I mean, we talk about Gerbeck being one of the best Michigan quarterbacks. He was an 8th-round pick. They don't even have an 8th round anymore.
This is true.
John Navarre. We talk about John Navarre being one of the best Michigan quarterbacks. He was a 7th-round pick. Now Chad Henne was a 2nd-round pick.
And he's still playing.
And he's still in there. God bless him. And this isn't a knock on him. Brian Griese led Michigan to a national championship. 3rd-round pick, pretty decent career, got some money. Denver, Chicago, good deal for him. But you won't mistake Brian Griese being the best player on that 97 championship team.
He's the only one who got a national championship.
I know. So is he the best? Yeah. It's all interesting. It's to me an interesting conversation because when you I know it sounds like a shocking thing.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy, this kid could be the best Michigan quarterback. I think what's more shocking is that Michigan, as much winning as they've done, they have not really done that at the quarterback position. They have some crazy statistical years out of these guys. So anyway, just a thought. You got a take on this, Maz? We're going to get Sam Webb's take on this next, 30 seconds from now. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
In Hamtramck, couple ways to play this game of football and bowling, invented by Chris Hudd, of course. You can play it for $12, unlimited open play, or have a private lane reservation, all to your own, and 10 or 12 of your friends on a lane. Around $120, but you get it for 2 hours. Any drink you want. They have multiple full bars, over 100 beers to offer you at the Folding Warehouse, and of course the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or even have it delivered. How about that? Get your fold on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, Planet Fitness, your official studio sponsor here at Woodward Sports, also the home of the Judgment-Free Zone, where you can work out for just $10 a month.
Only
or
$10.
Upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club today or go to planetfitness.com.
I want to acknowledge what's happening in the chat right now.
Heard is going crazy.
JJ is bringing back Pablo Island. JJ created
Bowling.
that is right. Yeah, JJ created that. JJ should end up being the best Michigan quarterback in a long time, partly because the new line of quarterbacks is so mid. JJ narrates. This is the one I was looking for. JJ narrates Morgan Freeman's life.
JJ cures cancer while walking on water.
King Charles asked JJ for advice. Oh my gosh, these people.
People in the chat, man, you guys are very hilarious. You guys completely ignore what I said about Connor Cook in Michigan State. I remember right after Kirk Cousins left, they kept talking about this kid, Connor Cook, who was coming to East Lansing. That was going to be a heaven sent. He was going to be very good. After halfway through his first year, you know what? This guy can be special. He could be the best quarterback in Michigan State history. Is he? Yes, statistically.
But he wasn't a captain. Remember that?
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
you're
gosh.
Right.
Hey, let's get to our friend right now, Sam Webb, host, publisher of the Michigan Insider on Twitter, at SamWebb77. Sam, good afternoon to you, my friend.
How you guys doing?
Oh, man. Doing good. Look, we'll come straight to you with this. I'm sure you've heard what we're talking about. How would you characterize J.J. McCarthy and his potential track? Do you think I'm nuts or not?
I think you're premature. I think it's too early because two things. First, I think you skipped as far as most talented quarterback we've seen come through here. The most talented guy I've ever seen in my lifetime watching Michigan play quarterback is Drew Henson. I mean, you got to remember, Drew Henson, if he doesn't go play for the Yankees, he's the number one pick in the draft over Mike Vick. I mean, that dude.
David Carr, right?
Yeah, that dude. Yeah,
David
that
Carr.
dude was going to be the deal, the real deal. He was watching him.
But Sam, the thing with Drew, didn't doesn't that just say it too, that like it didn't happen, it didn't come to fruition.
No, it didn't come to fruition. But there, I think, again, to Braylon's point, there were circumstances. What would that year that he played, his last year at Michigan, what would it have been if he didn't break his foot at the beginning of the year, right?
Undefeated.
And missed the opening part of the season. You know, would they have run all the way undefeated, or if he had come back that next year, if the Yankees don't happen there, you gotta allow for some things to happen. But here's where I'll meet you sort of halfway, Ryan. He has the characteristics that give him a real shot. There's no question. Like you heard you mention Joe, and Joe is without question one of the best arm talents that ever came through the University of Michigan. In this competition with Cade, I think that's one of the things that they marveled at in practice. I remember talking to some of the coaches about it at the time, Josh included, and they were just mesmerized with his potential, with his ability to just do things physically that other guys in the building couldn't do. But Joe also had the disadvantage of not having all the quarterback training in high school that all these other guys did, and just couldn't bridge that gap, couldn't make up that ground in college enough to be able to translate all of that great physical talent, all that great State Street talent to Main Street. JJ's different because JJ has a big arm too, not as big as Joe's, but he has a big arm too. But he's faster than Joe. He's more mobile than Joe. And he's had all that quarterback training. He's had all of the tutelage that you want to see. He went to IMG as a senior. And then the other piece that he has is, man, he really has command. I remember I first started covering JJ as a sophomore in high school. And if folks who follow recruiting know that he took over a team, a veteran-laden team, as a sophomore and led it to the promised land. And what I learned about him over the years, learned from his dad and his mom, is he just has this ability to really connect with guys and meet them where they are. So if you're a veteran, hey man, I might have to follow you. If I'm Chad Henne and I'm on the team with Braylon, I'm going to have to follow Braylon for a minute. I can't just walk in and tell him Braylon Edwards what to do. I got to follow him for a minute. JJ got that at a very early age. He's been able to come in.
Hey, Sam, something's going on with the microphone now. I don't know if something just happened. Do you guys hear that or no?
Yeah, no, I definitely heard it. Sam, say something right now because I think it went away. Oh, yeah, every time you speak, yeah.
No, it's no good.
Nah, it won't.
It sounds like it's dying out, Sam.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a battery issue.
I can turn myself up and down.
Let me put you on hold. See if we can work that out, Fletch. See if you can work that out with them right now. But the point is, Braylon, a lot of Drew Henson obviously was one of those guys, number one player in the state of Michigan, coming to Michigan, and if he didn't choose baseball, if he didn't get injured, he probably would have been that guy.
Listen, you heard Sam before his phone started acting up, and I hope we get him back. We'll get the connection back. You heard what he said, and this is what we're talking about. The conversation right now, ladies and gentlemen, is about potential. It is about potential. Very strong word. Sometimes that word doesn't mean anything if there isn't any following behind it. But look at the intangibles that he talked about. Going to IMG Academy, getting all that training. See, he's a part of that new era that's been training for the quarterback position since he was 8, 9, 10 years old, going to camps around the country, going to camps in his own hometown, also playing baseball as well. Also, you look when he gets here, it's about the talent around him. It's about a coach willing to put him in a position, which Harbaugh finally has, to be the guy, to give him the reins. It's about having talent around him. It's about having a system in place for him to have success. You talk about going into the season, what do we say about this offense, especially as it relates to wide receivers? Oh, this can be the best receiving corps since 20 years ago. Oh, look at this backfield. It has Blake Corum and it has Donovan Edwards. Oh, it has the returning best offensive line with the addition of Remington finalist last year, Oluwatimi, joining that center staff. So it's the everything around him, not to mention all the intangibles, the big arm. Not as big as Joe Milton apparently, but the big arm. Can run faster than most of the quarterbacks we have. He has that it factor, okay? Has the it factor. Now, does he still have to go do it? He still got to go out there. He got to go win in Columbus. He's got to go win in Iowa. He's got to put some string. He got to string together some games. He has to win the Big Ten. He has to take them to the next level. He has to get to the playoffs. He even maybe has to win the national championship. But the things are in front of him to do, and that's all we talk about when we say potential. But what Ryan says, it's just easier from the quarterback position because it necessarily hasn't been that greatness. Now, if you're talking about a running back, now it'd be different than Ryan set up here and say, yo, Donovan Edwards can be the best running back in Michigan history. Nah. I got to see it because we are, like, that's what we're known for is the running backs. You got a long laundry list of running backs that would disagree with you. Jamie Morris, Chris Perry, and the list goes on. Tyrone Healy, Bianca Batuka, Anthony A-Train, Mike Hart. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Shoot, Ron Johnson back in the 60s. The only 300-yard game we've ever had.
New York Giants.
100%. There you go. So if you're talking about that position, if you're talking about the offensive line position, other positions, it can be a bigger argument. But to say quarterback, when you really go do the homework, I think he could be. But it's potential once again.
Steve Searett on YouTube says, call JJ to fix the mic.
I saw it.
Just had to get that in.
I love it. But see, that's playful banter. I like that.
It's actually really funny and really creative. Everybody in the YouTube chat, I think it's funny.
We appreciate you guys.
What you guys are doing right now. Just it is funny. And again, I was actually shocked at all the talk about negative talk about what I said. And then you look and it's like MSU wacko and all this stuff. We have got Sam back. Hey, Sam.
Is the audio better now?
Damn. No, it's not. I hate that. I'm so sorry. It almost sounds like you're wearing one of those voice boxes.
Sam, I'm gonna call you on the phone, Sam.
We're gonna get you on the phone. Sam, sit tight.
Hang up. I'm calling your cell.
We're gonna call the cell phone. Try that. Let's talk to you now, Sam. You there? Can you just talk now? He can't hear us.
Oh, he can't hear.
Let's put him on hold there. Right. We'll get him on the phone. I'll take a break. We'll do this. Les Stanford, it is no secret. The new cars are hard to come by. They are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in for lease and purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford has also 300 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. All you got to do is head on into Michigan Avenue in the great city of Dearborn, or look them up online, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rental has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, 2, ALTA.
Now that I've calmed down, I love this conversation. It's so much fun. And so I'm glad you came up with this yesterday on a whim, to be honest. In this game.
Really was.
It was
on thinking about the Michigan quarterbacks.
It's gained so much traction because look at it from this standpoint. Let's say J.J. McCarthy goes through this year, and let's say he goes 11-1. They lose, they stub their toes, still get to the playoffs, yada, yada. He had a great year. But he still wouldn't be considered the best quarterback of all time. I still wouldn't be considering him as that. He just would be that much closer to being the best quarterback of all time. He's still got to go out there and prove it. Like I talked to you about it. Elvis Gerback, 4 Big Ten championships, whether he was a catalyst or not. He's got 4 Big Ten championships under his belt. John Navarre, when Drew Henson went out, when he broke his ankle and it was like, oh, the season's over, John Navarre won 3 out of 4 games. The only game he lost was a questionable one to UCLA and Deshaun Foster, who was Heisman hopeful at the time, man. So you got to give John credit for stepping into those roles and going 3-1 until they got back and then winning 2 Big Ten championships on his own. You got to win, and then you got to look special. So far, none of those quarterbacks have looked special enough to me to where JJ can come in 2 years, he can take over as the best quarterback of all time, but he still got to go out there and do it. It's going to take a road to do it.
Is Joe Milton still?
He's a backup at Tennessee.
He is I figured he went to Tennessee. I know, obviously, he lost the job
and then
to your guy.
Hooker.
Hooker took over there. So he's still there.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. I was surprised that Sam brought him up versus your guy, JJ.
Who?
Joe.
Oh, Joe Milton. Well, somebody had mentioned Joe.
Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned Joe yesterday in the chat. Another reason you think this is because the numbers that I expect JJ to put up in a single season are going to be gaudy. And a lot of that may have to do with the fact that the Big Ten is just atrocious.
That's another part of it.
The Michigan schedule is just atrocious. They basically have 2 games on this schedule. And it's Michigan State, because it's the rivalry. And I fully anticipate Michigan to beat Michigan State by at least 2 touchdowns this year. I mean, I do. You can call me nuts, whatever you want. I don't even freaking care.
At this point.
But, and then Ohio State, you take your chances. Everybody else should be if healthy, an automatic win. I mean, that's how bad I feel like the Big Ten is this year.
Big Ten's not very good, so that definitely does help the case. I mean, he's gonna put up gaudy numbers. He obviously played the first half of the second game against Colorado State. Excuse me, against Hawaii. They played the first half, didn't play the second half. This week he'll probably do more of that, probably play the first half of the Connecticut game. He won't play in the second half, but he's going to put numbers up, man. This Big Ten, the easy schedule that he has, the first 3 games, then you look at the Big Ten schedule, with the exception of Michigan State and Ohio State right now, no one looks good in the Big Ten.
Rutgers.
I mean, Minnesota looks okay. Rutgers doesn't look good. They look okay. I give you that. They look okay. But it looks like a bunch of beatable teams. They're not pulling JJ out once you get into Big Ten play. You're not pulling this guy out in the fourth quarter or the third quarter. You're letting this guy go off. If you're Jim Harbaugh, much like you did with Jabril Peppers, you're going to try to do everything in your power to make him the quarterback that you said he was, to make him the quarterback that you gave him the scholarship to be. Much like you did Jabril Peppers, you put him in every possible situation to get to the Downtown Athletic Club of New York and win games. I'm telling you, JJ, based on his schedule, based on the skills that he possesses, based on the faith that they have in him, based on the team and the people around him, that's the all of the equation. He has the potential, but once again, potential is only a word. It means nothing without backing.
Let me get to a story we talked about yesterday as well. Ryan Hayes, Michigan offensive lineman, addressed the booing of Cade McNamara. I don't know how you feel about it. I still believe that they were booing the decision on Jim Harbaugh's part to the boos were direct, in my opinion, the boos were directed at Jim Harbaugh.
Angelique asked him, as a player, he's there on the field, and he feels they were booing Cade.
So Ryan Hayes on boos directed at Cade McNamara last Saturday. This is from Angelique. Quote, "We hate that. We would hate that for any of our brothers to get booed. That's pretty ridiculous for our stadium to do that to one of the players who's a captain and led us to all those victories last year." End quote.
When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So when people craft this narrative, you instantly believe it's an attack on Cade. Now, I pray that's not the case with Ryan Hayes, but you instantly think that, you know what, they're attacking our guy. That's not cool. We don't believe in it, as you should. And I appreciate the comment, but they're not. I give an example. If a coach elects to not go for it on 4th down and they start booing, are they booing the quarterback, or are they booing the coach for the decision? If they kick an onside kick and don't get it, are they booing the kicker for kicking an onside kick that they didn't retrieve? It wasn't a good enough onside kick. Or are they booing the coach who elected to go for the onside kick? It's the decision-making process in which they were booing, not Cade. That process. Now, they may have booed for an interception, but that comes with the territory.
But even so, let me phrase it another way. Let's say, just to leave myself an out a little bit, that the fans were booing Cade during the interception, after the interception.
Right.
I would still be booing Jim Harbaugh.
Because he should have been in there. Yeah.
He should have never even been in there at that time. Do we have, is he on there? Let's try him again. Sam Webb. Sam Webb back with us. Hey, Sam.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. All right.
There
Sam, let me just pick up where we left off. Just talking about the boos at Michigan Stadium. Braylon and I both think they were directed at Jim Harbaugh for even making the decision to pull Cade in the second quarter. But even if they were at Cade, just your take.
For pulling JJ and then putting Cade in there. Yeah.
What's your take on the boos? Were they at Cade? And if so, what do you make of it?
I thought when I heard him in the second half, I thought they booed him after a sack. I thought they were booing Cade. I really did. I mean, you look at the circumstance, they're up 35-0. They aren't going to lose that game, right? You know, I think that you have some fans that maybe it's part the decision, maybe it's part Cade, the resentment that JJ wasn't out there. Again, that's why they stayed. At the end of the day, remember, it's a rain delay. I was surprised to see the stadium fill back up. That was about JJ. I think people weren't done seeing JJ, and when they didn't get that, did they boo to show their displeasure to Jim Harbaugh in part? Sure, but I also think that there was some frustration by some fans shown with Cade. It's caught in the wound, man. When you're up 35-0, you're not going to lose that game. I think he's a guy in a tough situation. I mean, no matter what he does, no matter how well he plays, if the other guy plays his best, he's just better. some guys are just more blessed physically than others. And
Hey, Sam.
JJ is one of those guys.
Just a thought, as you mentioned, but they were up 35-0. How many of those students, might have had a little skin in the game? Does gambling and the 50-point favorite,
Yeah.
I mean, does that weigh into this when, hey, if you got minus 50 and you know that the guy out there is not as good, that could be an aspect of this too.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. You know what? Until you said it, I didn't think about how that may have contributed to some of it. Yeah, because on our pregame show, one of the questions was, and it wasn't a money wager, but, in our pick'em, everyone was going to pick Michigan to win, so we had to pick with or against the spread, right? So I said Michigan was going to cover. And when he put Cade in the game, my man next to me, Steve Clark, he was like, "You're going to lose."
See? Yeah. I mean, and you're not the only one.
Yeah, 100%. I think part of it, I didn't even think about that element of it till today, so I appreciate you for bringing that up, especially with Sam. Like, that's a hell of an element because that adds to it, and you're absolutely right. A lot of people went home very pissed off, and it wasn't at Cade McNamara. It was about Jim Harbaugh. So I look at it this way. Going back to the Iowa game, because I think the Iowa game is where I think the Iowa game was the first time I really saw. I don't think Cade. I don't think it can be Cade. I don't think it's gonna be Cade. Iowa game was the first one I saw, so I was paying attention then. But you start hearing the rumblings from even then, though, Sam, talking about JJ. Then it was, if he's not doing good in the first half of the Georgia game, should you bring in JJ? Then the whole offseason, is it gonna be JJ? So I think having that argument and fans clamoring for JJ since December of last year. Now you get to the season, and then Jim Harbaugh's like, well, we'll start this guy, then we'll start this guy. Now you're pissing fans off. Now you start the guy. Then you pull him out. You know what I'm saying? When people wanted to see more, that's why I just think it was more about Jim Harbaugh making the decision. We know we want JJ. He knows we want JJ. We know JJ's the guy. Stop playing around with our emotions and put JJ in. They booed the pick. But I think ultimately it's about the decision to play around with the whole decision-making process.
Well, here's the thing, man. Unfortunately, if that's the case, maybe that was for some of the fans, perception is reality. And I can tell you what, there was a 5-star quarterback on the visitors list named Jaden Davis. He was ranked the number 1 quarterback in the 24 class. He's still top 3 or 4. And his dad definitely too. He's like, man, that's how Michigan fans get down. They booing the quarterback. That's how he took it. Now, maybe that's not what it is, but I think it'd be, you're up 35-0. I just have a hard time booing anything at that point.
Yeah, you ain't never lied about that.
Even if you want to see more JJ, I'm like, all right, less preserving, because you know how JJ's not gonna fly. He's going to stick his nose in there. He's going to lower his shoulder, man. You got to preserve him for the next opponent. That's how I would be looking at it. And the byproduct of that is it doesn't, if you show some displeasure, it wouldn't be misconstrued as something being aimed at Cade McNamara, who, to your point, Braylon, yeah, going back to last season, I mean, you could make a case through different games in the season. I remember as early as the Wisconsin game. Thinking, man, are they going to be able to get as much out of the quarterback play as necessary to win the championship? And to Cade's credit, he improved. And I'm telling you, look, they could win 10 games with Cade McNamara this year. They could. Yeah, they're good enough to win 10 games with him this year. But now the bar is raised, right? You're looking to repeat his Big Ten championship, which would be harder going to Columbus. And now you want to be in the game with Georgia, and that's when it really dawned on me. I remember, hey man, I had to eat some crow. I went on ESPN.
No, you're right.
We're talking about the game, and I'm like, man, people making Georgia out to be, Super Bowl champs,
let's not even go back down that rabbit hole. Let's stay away from that.
Yeah, they're making them out to be this team that can't be beat. Bama was able to go out there and show that they have some vulnerabilities, right?
With a bunch of injured players.
This was my mistake. I said, hey, I'm looking at their quarterback. I'm looking at Michigan's quarterback contingent. There's no way that guy is going to outplay Michigan's quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, and here we are, national championship for Georgia later. Hey, Sam, let's do this. Let's stop speculating and talk about something that you don't have to speculate about. As you've looked at 2 games so far, you finally know who the starting quarterback is. What is the one area of Michigan football right now that they got to get better at? They got to look better at to you. What's that one area?
It's so hard to tell with who they played so far. I mean, I know that the run game, they've had a couple mishaps in the run game on some of their movement plays, on some of the counters and pin and pulls and whatnot, but that's going to get cleaned up. I think some of it is due to some of the inexperience of guys on the line. That's going to be fine. I feel like from a receiver perspective, Ronnie's been a little rusty. That's going to be fine, right? It's hard to see where the vulnerabilities truly are based on who they played thus far. I anticipate most of those things manifesting on defense, though, guys. And if I have to project or predict what some of those issues are going to be, are they going to be able to get pressure with Ford as consistently as they did over the course of these first 2 games? Where did they bring pressure? Sure, but they got a whole lot of pressure with just 4 guys. It makes life a lot easier for the guys behind them. That would be the thing that I would look to most. We just can't see if that's an issue yet. We won't see it until they see better competition.
Sam, let me stick with that for a minute, because if it's not the quarterback position, most of the talk about Michigan football this coming season, has been about the schedule. What do you make of the non-conference schedule? And what's the talk there?
Yeah, I know there are some fans that are disenchanted with it. I think this was the perfect schedule for where they are. If they're going to be a championship contender, they need to work some things out in the non-conference. They didn't need to be playing Texas. They didn't need to be playing Notre Dame.
I said the same thing.
These were perfect games to make a transition. And that was the other thing. Remember before when Harbaugh said, we're going to start both quarterbacks in these games, right? And people were like, oh, what are you going to say? That's not going to tell you anything about who the quarterback should be. And lo and behold, we saw a clear separation in these games because the circumstance, the moment applied more pressure than the opponent, right? So you were able to learn something about your quarterback play, right? You were able to break in some of these new pieces on your offensive line. You're able to see a lot more of these freshmen. Who are you going to redshirt and who aren't you going to redshirt? Because they are all getting snaps now. They can play at least 4 games. So this, to me, for what they are this year, this was the perfect non-conference schedule to build them up into Big Ten play.
SW, you know the biggest thing that it did, the biggest thing that it showed which one of these quarterbacks the offense rock with. It showed which one of these quarterbacks, they felt good when he came on the field. You just saw a different pop, and I'm not trying to disrespect Cade, and I'm not trying to put something on the players that I didn't see with my own 2 damn eyes. I saw when JJ was in that huddle, they were like, all right, cool, let's go, it's go time. I saw when Cade was in there, it was, this is kind of a formality. We know, like you saw the difference. I want to get back to one real quick thing. Only 2 things I want to see: get the ball down the field, because RPOs and all the dumps and all that, I need to see down the field passes. You got wide receivers that can catch down the field balls. He has a down the field arm, and they got down the field speed. And then pressure. Playing against Colorado State, playing against Hawaii, you want to see more sacks. But I'm good. I think they're showing enough, but got to get the ball down the field. And it ain't because I play wide receiver.
Hey, man, look, I think you're going to see it more. I think you're going to see JJ choose more shots, too. Right? So the touchdown, and you know this, Braylon, it was a dagger, and he threw a post on the dagger. So, like, who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that, right? J.J. McCarthy will do that,
right?
There you
go.
You know, you get in the second half, the post to C.J., 54 yards, he had, I think it was Ronnie or Roman underneath on the open. It was wide open. You could have taken it, but he chose the post. So you're going to have a guy who is going to take those shots when those shots are there. I also think you're going to have a greater willingness to call some of those shots, too. It's not, and to be clear, they didn't give. The only difference that you really saw between the play sheet with these guys is they're going to call more RPOs with JJ. That just goes without saying. And maybe even a couple more play actions. But definitely more RPOs with JJ. They just didn't – it's clear that they didn't feel like Cade was an RPO guy. You could really see – you just take you back to that Georgia game. You could really see it in that game. Georgia ran 13 RPOs in the first half with Stetson Bennett. And that's, that was one of the ways where they were able to play off Michigan's defense.
And he kept some of them.
Yeah, man. And so ideally, Michigan would have been able to do some of that with that crazy defense they had, but that wasn't in the forte for the quarterback at that time. It is now, B. So we're gonna see shots and we're gonna see more RPO.
Hey, Sam. Last thing for you, and it's a two-part question. The percentage chance Michigan is 11-0 when they go to Columbus at the end of the season in November, and then how soon before the Cade transferring talk begins?
It began. Look, first of all, to answer your first question or your last question first, the transfer talk, at least for me, started in the offseason. It was untenable. One of these quarterbacks was always going to transfer at the end of the year. I mean, that's just come on, man. I mean,
game is now, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
You know, I mean, if JJ had lost his job, the food for thought.
It won't happen during the season, though, will it?
No. I mean, what benefit do you get out of that?
Nothing.
You don't get anything out of that, especially so looking at it from Cade's perspective, you're a captain, right? You are going to leave your team. You're not going to desert your team, right? If you're a captain,
exactly.
They vote you captain. I don't see that happening. And look, it's up to the coaches and his teammates to keep him engaged. Clearly, you know, he's down some. You know, this competition affected him some. It was clear he didn't feel like this was the fairest process. So you got to get him regrouped because, you know, you need two quarterbacks. Odds are they might need to see. I mean, think about Penn State last year when Sean Clifford goes down. That was a team that had championship aspirations, and they didn't have a backup, right? What would some of these teams that we have seen, what would Ohio State have been all those years ago if they didn't have a couple of quarterbacks on the roster?
Good
right?
call.
So you might need Cade down the line. But if JJ didn't win the job, I would say he'd transfer. So that JJ's won the job, I think Cade will transfer next year. To your next question, I would say, look, greater than 75-25. I was initially concerned about that Iowa game because, you know, Braylon has played in Iowa City for some reason, man.
It's a pink locker room, man.
Kinnick is tough, but they've scored 10 points in 26 quarters of play.
Iowa.
They cannot score the football. So to me, that's a game you should win.
Yeah,
Michigan,
I agree.
when they play James Franklin in Ann Arbor, they beat the brakes off of Penn State. Just go look at the tape, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened. So it's about Michigan State, and it wasn't for taking the touchdown off the board last year. I think Michigan wins that game, and you got JJ at the helm now. I think Michigan wins that game, so I'm going 75-25, 80-20. Michigan marches into that game 11-0.
Yeah, Sam, I agree with you 100%. I'll do you one even better. Remember when Tua Tagovailoa came in? He took over Jalen Hurts' starting job, won the national championship, but that's not where I'm going. Remember, Jalen stayed that whole next year, and if they didn't have him on the roster to win the SEC championship game, they wouldn't have had a chance to go into to the national championship and lose. Jalen stayed, helped them out, and then went to Oklahoma next year. So you're absolutely right about needing that backup quarterback.
Hey, Sam, thanks so much, my friend. We really appreciate you bearing with us here. Thanks so much. We appreciate your time and respect your opinions. Love having you on. Check out Sam on Twitter at SamWebb77, and, of course, host and publisher of the Michigan Insider. Check him out, WTKA as well. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Going to take a break. Come right back. We're getting to NFL top of the hour, but first a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience, and it's your last month to register to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. That's what I did today. It is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Odds Trader.com. It's number one site for your game day bets.
Number one site.
Play-by-play updates.
Game day bets.
Live bets. And
go ahead. And live bets.
And best price on every game from multiple sports books. You almost had it, my guy.
Almost, baby.
Multiple sport books, you got it. They got the best bets. Simply put, they are the best. That's why they are oddstrader.com. Go there for all the bets that you want to make. Who's going to win MVP this year in the NFL? Well, I think Josh Allen will be a pretty good bet right now. Who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's going to be rookie year in the NBA? I got odds that it could be J90. Go to oddstrader.com. The best bets in the nation.
That's what's up. No doubt about it. It's great to have Sam Webb on.
Yeah, I'm glad he was patient up the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of Michigan people certainly appreciate his opinion on things. I wanted to bring him in to get his take on that, and he kind of met me halfway there. A little bit, but
once he got going, it almost seemed like he agreed with us.
Yeah, again, and I think the rationale is there. Look, if you're going to have an interesting take or an entertaining take, I think the only thing you can ask for is that you got a little bit of, research where you could back it up. I think I've done that with the Michigan quarterbacks statistically over the years.
100%. You know, all these notes, like I know you guys can't see them, all these notes, man, we did our homework, we did research for an opinion-based business, did some research. The interesting thing is this, look, when guys are 5-star ratings, that means that institutions, that means programming, that means scouts, they're giving that rating because they believe they have the potential to go to any institution and be special. So when you get one of these guys in your institution, he has the potential to be special. That's what the 5-star is. I basically saw enough of him in high school to know he has the potential to be special at any institution he goes to. Well, JJ is a 5-star. He is at Michigan, and he has the potential to be special. That's all we were saying. But, hey, appreciate you guys in chat. Had a lot of fun with that.
Top of hour number 2, it is Detroit Lions Talk. Dan Campbell talking today. And you will be interested to see who's saying what about the Detroit Lions. And I want to see if that changes your perspective on last week's loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, we'll go around the NFL. Lots of news to catch up on. We'll do that. Hour number 2. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5 against any competitor on unlimited tanning. And, of course, you get to meet the Pepper Girls, the cleanest salons in the D, 27 locations and more on the way. How about it, huh? The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters is at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
There is nothing better on game day than a rockin' tailgate. With all the fun comes responsibility too. Host liquor liability is important coverage when hosting high school, college, or pro tailgates. Let Mark at Swiss Insurance make sure you are protected so you can enjoy the big game.
all we can control is our own details, effort, discipline, all those things. And so that's what I told the team. I'm not even talking about winning to them, and they know that. I'm talking about playing better. And let's clean up our details, because if we do that, winning's a byproduct of that. That's got to be our sole focus.
That's Dan Campbell, Lions head coach, earlier today, talking about cleaning up those penalties, drops, mishaps in the game. Couple of notes today. Frank Ragnow did not practice. A flare-up with the groin. Vaitai had back surgery yesterday. Still hoping he comes back this season. Going to consider him out for the entire season, though. Justin Jackson signed to the 53-man roster. Those notes provided by our very own Matty Miller.
Decker was out as well, and Swift also sat out, and Tommy Kramer has a bad back as well. He did not practice. I don't know what's up with Swift, though.
Whole team sounds depleted already. Look, a lot of these things you just have to report when you get iced. Like, it's not necessarily anything wrong with them. After games, you may have a little contusion, get yourself a little ice, may have a little tweak here, a little tweak there. Nothing serious. It's how it goes week in, week out. Anytime you come into the training room and you get treatment for anything, you can have a headache that you get medicine for. They have to put it down in a report. So not to make too much of those things, but at the same time, we talked before the season, okay, this is going to be a defense that's going to need to play disciplined football. They need no self-inflicted negatives. No self-inflicted negatives is what they were going to have to do to compete, much like they did in the games that they were in last year. You want to help out that offense, who wasn't perfect either, by the way, some holding, some offsides, a couple drops. You just got to shore it up, got to clean it up. It happens in week one, we understand. But the teams that win, Ryan Ermanni, the teams that can get the W's are the teams that don't have these self-inflicted negatives, or they have less of them. So the Detroit Lions, good thing they're admitting theirs, because that's the first step, taking that admittance. They'll get it cleaned up. If they want to compete, if they want to do, like you said, win 10 games somehow, some way, they're going to have to find ways to get up out of self-inflicted negative categories.
So I agree, and I think there's been a lot of reaction to the Lions' loss to the Eagles. There's a large portion of the fan base that says, same old Lions. We saw lesser talented teams win games this weekend over teams that were more talented than the Lions. This is not the Super Bowl capital for moral victories. You don't get to claim that every time you play a close game against a good team. No. But one of the areas that I have noticed over the past couple of days is all the national love that the Detroit Lions have gotten. I want to start by this. Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky put this tweet up today, and it kind of went in line with what other guys are saying. Here's the tweet. The Lions are going to be an absolute dog for every single team they play this year. Offense was physically dominant, and Swift is a star. 4 pass-catching threats are legit. Defense comes after you. Needed better contain of quarterback, and Brown won one-on-one every time. That's A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown, yeah.
Good team. Marcus Spears on ESPN. I want to read a quote for you that he said. Marcus Spears said, I know everybody is looking at the Lions like that's one they can get. They're going to be trouble for a lot of teams, talking about how good he thought the Detroit Lions were on Sunday and how good they potentially could be. We saw breakdowns on Monday from Brian Baldinger and Jeff Schwartz, talking about how good this offensive scheme was. And I guess what I'm trying to say, not only that, I want to put up this for you as well. Pro Football Focus on DeAndre Swift, talking about how great DeAndre Swift was. DeAndre Swift, the highest graded running back in the National Football League this week. My question to you, Braylon, is should Lions fans feel better about their team after the Philadelphia Eagles lost based on just not what some fan expectations are, but these are legit NFL guys who do this for a living, analysts that watch this and then rewatch and break down these plays. How should Lions fans feel about all this national love that they're getting?
Man, I tell you like this: Saquon Barkley just announced that he is NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Saquon, you only got lucky because if DeAndre Swift scores a touchdown, I guarantee you they'll be splitting that trophy. I think the Lions fans should feel good. I think they should have some sense of They have to play better. We can't sugarcoat that. Self-inflicting negatives, drops, jumping off sides, bad play call in certain situations, allowing the one-on-one to A.J. Brown to just be an easy pass and catch, and obviously getting up the field too far and allowing Jalen Hurts to go through the rushing lane. You had 9 months to pregame Jalen Hurts. So, yes, there are a lot of things that you want to look at and say they can do better. But that's anybody. That's any team in the NFL can have better. But you look at the points that were scored. You look at being in it. Just stop spotting teams. If you want to say same old Lions, the one same old Lions thing that I will point to is spotting individuals. Having to be that team that has to fight, claw, and scratch back in the fourth quarter, scoring 24 points, 14 points, 20 points, whatever it is, always seems like we're clawing back to get into the game. The one SOL thing that I would say, and that's not S out of luck, that same old Lions, the one thing that I would say they got to correct, stop fighting from behind. You allowed the Philadelphia Eagles 0 points in the first, 7 in the second, 24 in the third, and then 0 again in the fourth. Stop spotting them so many points.
Carson Wentz is nowhere
24-14, excuse me.
Nowhere near Jalen Hurts' mobility. He's a sitting duck. And if they have that same rush that they had last week, they'll get 4 sacks on Carson Wentz. They'll force an interception, a fumble. I think if they stay status quo from last week to this week, they'll get that W as long as that offense continues to put out, and I think it will.
And that's based on the meat and potatoes of the offense, right? And that goes back to what the two guys were saying, Baldinger and Jeff Schwartz, just the scheme itself, what Ben Johnson was doing schematically and what the players were doing, putting the players in a position to make a play. And when you have the talent level, when you have the skill set of a guy like DeAndre Swift, Braylon, it's up to you one-on-one. I guarantee you, if you're a player and your coach is asking you, can you beat this guy one-on-one, that player is going to take that opportunity every day and twice on Sunday. Yes, get me one-on-one with somebody, and I will absolutely beat that man.
Yeah, give me one-on-one. I've seen it a million times before in the league. You get a guy on you you can be a guy that you know is, look, man, for whatever reason, this guy is not on my level. He's not, he doesn't have the confidence to check me. And you call on him. You say, hey, coach, I got one. We tap our helmets. That's what we say, I got one. You don't want that to be the case with Jeff Okudah moving forward. And I don't think it will be. I think it was first game. You got to look at the role that he has come back from. Injury year 1, injury year 2. People call him a bust, saying it was over. The mental mindset that he had to have to get back to being DB1 on this team or DB2 or just getting in the starting lineup. Had 7 tackles. He looked decent at times. He'll get better. It takes a lot to come back from when he came back. Came back, made some plays. It's going to come. Just be patient. This week, too, against the Washington Commanders, will let us know a lot about the Detroit Lions, a lot more, actually, than last week did.
When the Lions kick off on Sunday against the Washington Commanders, it will be the first time since November of 2020 that this has happened. We'll get to that next, but first, a message from Cintron.
That's right. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, is here. And for a limited time, they have combined all 3 of their flavors, the cranberry, the sugar-free, and the classic, into a special edition, limited edition 6-pack. Go to CintronWorld.com/Red Wings to get yourself one of these. They have partnered with the Red Wings. They have partnered with the Pistons, the Lions, Woodward Sports. They are in the community, and they are here for change. Let them help change you, re-energize you. Cintron. Drink it, live it, love it.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarthy on our side.
Lemieux and McCarthy, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
It's Bedrock time. The Monroe Street Midway is open until
Midway.
September 25th. The countdown's on. You still have some time to experience Detroit with roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and a whole lot more. A fun, safe environment for everyone from 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com for more information. We will see you at the Midway.
Deck it out. Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. If you are watching on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let's try to get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment.
JJ wants likes. He does.
JJ
wants likes. He wants you to like the page.
When
JJ McCarthy.
When JJ hits the like button, it counts for more than just one.
It does. Goes right to 300 when JJ hits it.
Right. Incoming comments.
Exactly. All right, guys. When the Lions take the field on Sunday at kickoff, it will be the first time since November of 2020. Since November of 2020 that they are a favorite in a football game.
24 games.
24 straight games they've been the underdog. And actually, the game they were favored in, I think they lost 20-0.
They did.
Of course.
What do you think? Does that say more about Washington or does that say more about Detroit?
Lions.
I think a mixture of both. I think a mixture of both. You know, you look at Washington Commanders. They played against a Jacksonville team that a lot of people don't think are good for whatever the additions that they made in the offseason, whether it was Christian Kirk, you know, the defense that they tried to shore up, the draft pick of Trayvon Walker. Regardless of what they did, people still don't necessarily believe in that team. I don't think they believe in Trevor Lawrence. So they look at them almost losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars and say, they're just okay. And they look at that arena in Ford Field, in that stadium. Man, that thing was rocking. That thing was loud last week. And the Lions, going into the fourth quarter, they had a chance to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who many have going to the NFC Championship. So I think it says a little bit about the Washington Commanders, and it says a little bit about the Detroit Lions as well.
And it's just it's a must-win to me.
I agree.
You want to keep this town buzzing. And I guess I'm not going to say the season's over. I mean, the back half of the schedule, on paper anyway, looks to be a lot softer than the first half of the schedule is. But if you want to keep this town buzzing, if you want to keep Ford Field loud, you have got to win this football game. It's just plain and simple. How many times, Braylon, have we gone downtown last year? Parking was $50.
62.
Then parking was $40.
Yeah.
Then it was $30. Then there was nobody there, and it was $20. They were paying you to come down at the end of the season. You know, I mean, the sea of blue, Honolulu blue, downtown on Sunday, that's going to dwindle out unless you win early. And nobody really fully expects them to win at Minnesota the following week. So you are staring at 0-3 right down the tubes. And by the way, Seattle don't look like much of a pushover either right now. So a loss here, and you are staring 0-3 in the face, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, you know, you asked me, what does it say more about the Washington Commanders or does it talk about the Detroit Lions? And I said it talks about both. You know, it says more, to be honest, about Detroit Lions because people are looking at it. Let's face it, nobody believes in Carson Wentz outside of the Washington Commanders. Now, I know he looked good in stints, but don't forget what he looked like almost before the game was over. What happened? Oh, there's the Carson Wentz. We know 2 interceptions. Tried to give the game away in Washington. Obviously, they win. One of those interceptions to Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick overall. He tried to give the game away. And then eventually he gets the ball to Terry McLaurin, gets the ball to Jahan Dotson. They don't have Chase Young, which Maz has said for the last 4 months they won't have Chase Young. Chase Young won't be there in the beginning. They don't have a super stop your defense. They don't have a defense where I'm like, hey, watch out for that Commanders defense. They don't have that. And what's our strength? It's the offensive side of the ball. And then you look at the offensive side of the ball for the Washington Commanders. You got a guy in Carson Wentz. Matt just said it yesterday. He will give you the pill. He'll give you the pill. So the Detroit Lions is a must-win game because y'all can beat them. Y'all can beat this team.
And I think they will, by the way. I want to go on the record now and say that. I see Steve-O, baby, on the chat say, yeah, Ryan, but you're one of the guys that said they were going to win 10 games. And I still believe that. I'm still going with 10. And this is the first one.
I'm going with 8, and this one's the win.
That they have to win this game. Yeah. They have to.
You can't look at – you could be 0-5. onto your break. Because you're going to New England, as bad as you think they are, you're still going to Foxborough.
No doubt.
It's still in New England.
So you need this to go 1-1 before you hit the road and play a juggernaut that looks like a juggernaut in Minnesota. I do think they'll split with Minnesota this year eventually if they continue to improve, but they ain't going to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get to Thanksgiving, do we have the Lions schedule up anywhere? I mean, I know we don't have it in here, but I mean, if you can get to the Thanksgiving Day game, 5-4 or 4-5 even.
I mean, you got it right here. They got this week they play the Washington Commanders. They got to win that game. The following week they play the Vikings in Minnesota, U.S. Bank Stadium. I think that's going to be a loss. They play the Seahawks the following week here. They don't look like world beaters.
I don't even care who. 1, 2, 3.
I'm just reading the schedule.
Yeah, go ahead. You're doing the names. I'm just counting the number of the games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's the 10 crack commandments.
10 games. Yeah. It's 10 games before Thanksgiving.
You gotta smile a little bit, man.
I mean, you gotta go 5-5 and then come out of there 5-6.
Yeah, but you're not going to. Like you're not going to. What you have to do, or if I don't believe in that world, I believe in the world that I see. The Detroit Lions are a much improved team. I give it the credit. I said they were going to be much improved. They look much more improved than I thought they were on the offensive side of the ball because I saw some mistakes they made, and I'm like, damn, like they still flubbed up. They could have had 50 points.
Yeah, I'm smiling.
But with that said, you also get on my nerves. Stop. You just stop. Would you knock it off? You're like a badass kid, man. Badass kid over there, man. See what I got to deal with, man? You know what, man? I see why you look at us sometimes like two kids. No, I love my brother. But I am too. Look, listen, they got to beat the Washington, and this is before they play the Bills on Thanksgiving. They got to beat the Commanders. They have to beat the Bears. They have to beat the Patriots in New England, and they got to beat the Giants in New York. Because as frankly as you want to put about the Giants, I think we'll get around the horn. Yeah, Saquon looked good, finally. Daniel Jones is running for his freaking life. Evan Neal, they draft him in the first round. They draft Joshua Iduzzi in the third round because they need offensive linemen. They couldn't protect Eli for the last 12 years. They couldn't protect Daniel Jones for the last 5, and nothing has changed. That's a win you got to get. Aiden Hutchinson, it's time for you to show why you're better than K.Y. Thibodeau in that game.
Last week, he was one of the lowest-rated defensive linemen in the league against the pass. But he was right in the middle when it came to going against the run. Like I told you, last week, the Philadelphia Eagles were letting them come in. They were suckering them, letting them come in, and they were running right past them. This time, I think, in Washington and Carson Wentz, I think it plays right into this Lions defense's hands. Let's face it, they're definitely the weak link of the team. But Jeff Okudah, he's gonna have his hands full, too, because you got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. That's already a good combination that Wentz likes to throw to. So look out there. Tough. But Dan Campbell spoke today about what kind of game that my man is playing. Here it is.
I love the fact that he went up there and challenged. You know, he challenged plenty of times on the perimeter, challenged the receivers in the pass game. He came up and tackled. I thought he played physical. Listen, he certainly wasn't perfect. But really, first time out of the gate in a year, live game, full reps. He took quite a load. It was a positive, you know. It was a positive. So it's certainly something to build off of. He came out of the game good, which is another positive, and so he's trending the right way.
How great is this story?
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Seriously.
So far, so good.
You know, we as fans get beat up a lot. I love that Lions fans are rooting for this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think. Look,
how do you not?
You're always going to have those jerks that just root against people for no reason. It's like Gazzo. You know, some guys they just hate for no reason.
Yeah.
Rock, right? But
are you talking about Aiden or talking about Dan? Cheering for.
I was talking about Okudah.
Yeah, Okudah.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about.
I'm talking about Okudah. I love that people are rooting for this guy and want to see him succeed. Because there's a faction of fans out there that's just going to root against guys that they perceive bust just so they can be right. Oh, he'll never come back. He'll never be good. What a great story this Jeff Okudah is.
It's a hell of a story, man. And the thing I love about, the thing I appreciate it, just taking a step back and relating it to college. When I went to University of Michigan, when I went to Cleveland, like Ohio State people in Ohio, in Cleveland, they couldn't separate Ohio versus Michigan. They couldn't separate the fact that I now played for the team in Ohio. That's what Michigan fans can do. That's what the state of Michigan, they don't care about what school Jeff Okudah, they don't care about that team down south. I
don't think they ever cared.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's the difference between the states. I can appreciate that they do that. Is they appreciate him. He's a Detroit Lion through and through. They want him to have success. Went through some tough stuff, man. 2 years of injuries, coming off your rookie year, coming off a pick where most people said, I don't know if I would have taken him at that pick anyway. Now so eager to make him a bust. For him to fight back the Achilles last year and go through everything he's gone with. And now he's back in the starting roster. Now he's trying to make waves. It's a great story. I'm glad he has that support. But with all that said, like the story is great. But just like I said, week 1 is in the books. Can't talk about get the road back in the journey anymore. Got to see you do better from week 2. Got to see you in coverage. Got to see you being in the right position, not going for the fakes, not going for, the hip placement. Got to stay in phase with the wide receiver. Now it's time for you to take that next step was, maybe this guy could and was worthy of being that high pick.
Devontae Smith, no catches, nothing
4
last
targets.
week. Took care of business.
I don't remember if I asked you this on the air yesterday. I know I asked you off the air, but just quickly on the air. When you got a guy on the other side and A.J. Brown dominating, is it easy or not easy for a guy like Okudah just to go to the other side? Whatever they were doing over there with Oruwariye was not working. Could you flop Oruwariye? And no, he can't do it.
No, because it's field and boundary corners.
Yeah.
So one guy is going to play where there's less field, which means he has more help. That's the boundary corner. And then the field guy is going to be DB1. That's the guy that doesn't need as much help. That's the guy that claims to be DB1. That's the guy that makes the big money. That's the guy that makes the cheese. You look at the big name DBs, they play to the field. It's like Deion said, 70% of the water is covered by earth. I cover the rest. That's the field corner.
And that's the expertise you get here on the Ermanni and Edwards program, mostly from the Edwards side of things. We try to entertain as well.
That's a fact.
Ermanni and Edwards with the Maz. We'll be right back with a little NFL rapid fire. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you're on the road or at home, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you stays safe. Call that number above my head right now, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, the all-new burgers and loaded fries are ready for you at Big Boy. It's not just the Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. It's the chili cheese. It's such a tease. And don't forget what else is new. It's the bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Make them chili cheese fries, nacho fries, or baked potato fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Big Boy. Yes, sir. All right, we're going to do a little something fun. We usually go around the NFL. We're going to do a little rapid fire. And Tom Mazawey is going to lead us to that discussion.
Yes, sir. I'm going to follow right in Jeremy's musical footsteps. Here we go. Rapid fire NFL. Braylon, lead it off for me. Can Saquon lead the Giants to the division title or the playoffs?
No. It's good to see them win game one. Good to see him back. I'm so happy he's back. Big fan of his. But no, that offensive line is horrendous. It is atrocious, and it's been that way for years. Look, man, you're going to get Daniel Jones killed eventually, and obviously they're just going to spy on Saquon Barkley, put 8 men in the box, and cause him struggle. So although he's going to have a damn good year, no is my answer.
No, I just Philadelphia is worlds better than the New York Giants. I think Tennessee is a real bad team this year, and you're going to see Malik Willis at quarterback pretty soon, probably after the first month of the season. The really nice win for the Giants. I think they are trending up because that head coach seems to be a leader of men.
Yeah,
I think everybody's got the X's and O's. I think you got to lead. I like what I see out of the Giants, but they're not there yet.
Tennessee, by the way, as you were saying, maybe that's one of the reasons they let A.J. Brown go. Maybe they figured, hey, we're done.
Rebuilding?
Yeah, we're done. Get those draft picks, and they let him go. I don't know. Derrick Henry, you giving up on him? And
I don't know if they gave up so much on the man. It's just like now what you're saying in the NFL, so many people are not they're no longer content with having a player that's that good. They get rid of him so they don't have to pay him, and then they go out and look for a guy that was just like him. Keep in mind, Harold Landry III did get injured right before the season started, and he's their best player on defense. So keep an eye on that.
How about this one, guys? Quickie. Ryan, you lead this one off. Can the Lions still make the playoffs?
Yes. And I think they will, to be honest with you. And again, I can't prove that today, and neither can you, by the way.
Statistically, I can't. Statistically, I can't.
I got nothing.
All right, let's move on.
I think they will make the playoffs this year.
I'm going to lead off with you again. All right?
Okay.
Is it fixable? No, I'm not leading off with you. Braylon, is it fixable in Green Bay?
Yes, it's fixable in Green Bay. You still have a man by the name of that bad man, in the words of Stephen A. Smith. Aaron Rodgers is still the guy in the NFL until proven otherwise. As long as you got him, you got a chance. They'll get it corrected with the wide receivers. I'm pretty sure of that. Still have the running attack. And on defense, they lost to Darius Smith, which is a huge loss that people kind of went under the radar by. He's now in Minnesota, by the way. But I think they still have a chance to get together because when you got a guy like that and the defense is pretty good, Jaire Alexander, you still got chances.
Did you see him try, Aaron Rodgers try to block him?
Yeah.
And then he just knocked him on his ass.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he gets.
For as much as people overreact to the loss this week, they'll overreact to the win. They'll pound the Bears at home Sunday Night Football this week. And everybody will be, oh, Aaron Rodgers is back, Green Bay's back. I do think they're a 7-win football team. And I'm not moving off that, but they will beat the Bears this week.
All right, let's go on. Ryan, you lead me off on this one. Did the Denver Broncos make a mistake trading all that capital away and giving Russell Wilson $250 million?
No, they did not. Because to win the Super Bowl in this league, you either need to have a rookie on a rookie contract or you need to have a future Hall of Famer at quarterback for you. And the quarterbacks in that division, in the AFC West, Mahomes, Herbert, Carr, and then who's it? Locke?
Herbert?
Locke in Denver? I'm saying. One of these does not match the others. Right. You had to go pay a guy. You got to overpay. You go get Wilson. I still think they'll be fine. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. They're not a guaranteed playoff team for me, but they had to do what they had to do to get the quarterback.
No, they didn't overpay that quarterback. Like Ryan said, everything he says is correct. This is a quarterback-driven league. They needed a quarterback like that. Not to mention, this is a guy that already won a Super Bowl. This is a guy that's been in 2 Super Bowls. Should have 2 wins. Blame Pete Carroll for that. This is a guy that's a leader of men. He does it on the field. He does it off the field. Look at that embrace that DK Metcalf gave Russell after the game. That's a guy that appreciates what's gone. It's an emotional game for the Seahawks. They lost a tough place to play, and guess what? They're not going to fumble twice again on the goal line. So, no, they didn't. Overreaction.
All right, back to you, Bray. Will the Baltimore Ravens ever pay Lamar Jackson what he's worth, or will they trade him?
No one, yes. Knowing, yes, I for some reason don't believe there's an appreciation, a true appreciation for what Lamar Jackson has done for that franchise, what he's been for that franchise. Just doesn't seem to add up, doesn't seem to be an appreciation there. I don't think Lamar Jackson will be a quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens at the end of this season.
Yeah, I think Jackson's done there in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I really do, because
Tyler Huntley.
Well, they've got Tyler Huntley. If they're not going to pay him this year, why would they pay him more next year? Because the price just went up.
Yeah.
Well, they could franchise him. They don't
And
care.
I think they
That's
will,
still underpaying
They
him.
will franchise him, and then they'll work out a trade, a sign and trade, or something like that. Because this guy is so friggin' special, and it's just, there's going to be a million teams wanting his services. There's going to be at least 16 to 18 teams willing to pay him $45 to $50 million a year. And as we have seen, it is not don't look at the $250 million contract. Look at the guaranteed contract. The guaranteed money in the NFL is the only thing that matters. And the 133 is nearly half of what other quarterbacks got that do the same thing, or less of what he does. So Lamar Jackson going to be out next year, in my opinion.
Hey, Lamar Jackson's going to be out. I 100% agree with you. I got a question to ask you, and we can save it for the break.
Sorry,
here's a question. Would you sit out next year if they franchise you, if you're Lamar Jackson? Would you, bless you over there, sir, would you sit out and not play if they franchise you next year?
Does he still get paid?
No, you got to pay. Now, if you sit out, then you don't get paid. Actually, they can dock your pay for however long, whatever.
What if he claims he needs mental rest?
Nah, this ain't Ben Simmons. Like, you see with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a straight up and down dude.
Man,
they asked him, was it a no-look throw? He said, no, I keep my eyes on it. He said, I don't play street ball. Listen, I would sit out and I wouldn't play, and it wouldn't be disrespect to them. It would be how you disrespected me.
Really?
I've done everything that you've asked me to do. I've been stand up in the community. I've stayed to watch film. I've tried to get better as a player. I've talked about being here. Look, I came and I played with no contract in terms of a new contract. I played with no new contract. I was here off season. Everything you can ask an individual to do. The things that they beg players to do. They've been begging Kyler Murray to do half of that. And they pay him down in Arizona. I wouldn't play next year if they franchise him. I'm sorry.
I think that's a great discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm not a hard no. I wouldn't play. But I think it'd be extremely difficult to pass up $40 million.
How about this?
You know,
I just wouldn't play.
How about
I get it. Yeah. And I wouldn't want to for the principle. I'd want to stick the big double middle finger at him. But at the end of the day, when you're telling me I'm essentially sitting out I'm leaving $40 million off on the table. It's a hard thing to actually do. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a hard thing to actually follow through with.
It's also hard for me because this is Lamar Jackson's 5th year we're in now, correct? So this will be his 6th year next year that he would essentially be sitting out of in this fictitious scenario. Well, it may not be too fictitious. But you mean to tell me 5 years I've done everything right and you have the audacity to franchise me? You know what? That lets you know you disrespect me. And you know what that means? My mental can't allow me to come to work every day knowing that you deep down inside don't really respect me. I'm just not wired that way. So I wouldn't be able to act mentally wise, like go through the motions, go through practice, go through install and playing and all. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Would you trade on trade day if you're Brad Holmes? If they offered you, give me 2 number ones, you could have Lamar.
You could have both my next 2 drafts. You could have everybody. You could have all my draft. You could have all my draft picks for the next 2 years.
No, come on, be serious. I'm offering you my 2 number ones on draft day.
Oh God, absolutely. And probably a franchise. What is that? An average of the top 5?
Top 5.
So you're looking at $48 million. That's you.
I don't know. I may make my mental work for one day.
You want to disrespect me all you want for $45 million. We'll take a break. Gypsy Vodka. More NFL next.
Oh, man. I wish Baltimore had a mulligan so they can do a do-over with Lamar Jackson, not draft him and waste his time. But here we are. The mulligan, 8% alcohol seltzer by Gypsy Vodka. Adam and Mike, you got it right yet again. You got the flavors right, too, man. I applaud you. Iced tea, lemonade, and mango. A little bit spicy on that one. It is an amazing drink. Very chill. Very smooth. Drinking on the golf course, at home, at the barbecue. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Won't be too much more barbecue going on, but there will be some tailgates. But if you're going to drink Gypsy, remember, at all times, drink responsibly.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need the little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Academy of Warren. Are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? If so, Academy of Warren for professionals who have a passion for working with students in K-8 department and more is the place for you. For more information on how to apply, call them at 586-552-8010. That's 552-8010, or visit them at academyofwarren.net.
I think we're having a really good discussion just on the NFL and all the different things that are happening. Originally, we were going to do a bit of a rapid fire, but I'm having fun just talking to you guys about this stuff. It doesn't have to be anything quick, right?
I'm enjoying it too. I think the big thing about it, why it's so much fun, Maz and Ryan, is it was so much. Well, let me rephrase that. We were looking so much into this season, coming back in the 2022 season. It's just so many different storylines in the NFL. This is the most anticipated NFL season, and we're already going into week 2. I just think it's fun to talk about,
It's fantastic. It's the NFL, and let's move it on our NFL. This is the NFL. Are the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes the big dogs in AFC West again, Ryan?
Well, I always believed, and I've always said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! And I think that Kansas City is still the men until they are knocked off. However, and it is a big however, Buffalo looks like a team just absolutely possessed. I cannot wait to see these two teams meet up in the postseason. An absolute collision course these two teams are on in the AFC.
Yeah, 100% I agree with you. I think they're team 1A and 1B. 1A is going to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs have shown us, hey, look, it doesn't matter about Tyreek Hill. And what that game did, it was a huge game for Mahomes to let Mahomes know, I didn't need him as much as I thought I did. Now, he's still Tyreek Hill, so I think that's good. But the other thing about that Bills defense, that's the wild card. That's the caveat. That Bills defense with Von Miller now on the defensive line, it is something to behold. So I think they're 1A, 1B because you got to beat them, like Ryan said. But they're 1A, 1B in the AFC to me.
So Part B here now on that. The Buffalo Bills. Yes, they dismantled the Super Bowl champion Rams. But Braylon, can they keep up that kind of pace?
Yes, with one caveat. You got to stop running the ball so much with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a guy like J.J. McCarthy. He is reckless abandonment. He is a big dude. You saw what he did to Bobby Wagner on the goal line. That's not necessarily, trucked him, but he didn't get phased as he stretched the ball over like Michael Jordan in Space Jam. You got to protect Josh Allen as the season goes along because he accounts for 35% of that rushing attack. That is far too much if you want to get into January. You need your guy to be healthy. All these little nicks and bruises and ribs and thumbs and all that, how you protect that? You got to start running as much with Josh Allen.
You want me to read this question, or
No.
you wanted me to comment?
Comment.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we've been doing.
Yeah. No, I already did, I thought.
The Bills?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then.
I just think they're I think they're
I asked you if they could keep this type of pace up.
Yeah.
The way they dismantled the Rams.
They could be a 15-2 team if healthy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can keep the
15-2
pace. Just
team.
got to protect Josh Allen a little bit more, I think.
All right, after week 1, the 49ers, of course, lost to the Bears 19-10.
By the way, actually, I totally was daydreaming. Didn't hear a word you said.
That's
I knew
okay.
Honestly, I had no idea
You've
what
been
you
up
were
since
talking
4 in the
about.
morning.
I mean,
we knew you did.
Totally daydreaming.
This one's for you.
Zero idea what you were talking about.
This one's for you. This one's for you. 49ers, Trey Lance. Are they a little nervous after week 1?
No, they're not a little nervous.
Are they a lot nervous?
They're a lot of nervous about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the major reasons why they kept Jimmy Garoppolo, because they believe at least they have a Super Bowl caliber team back, but do they have a Super Bowl caliber quarterback back with them? And I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer. Clearly there is something missing, perhaps. I said I'm not going to judge them, though, because of the field in Chicago. But I'd like to see something out of Trey Lance this week for an entire game, not just a goal line play that we saw a couple of times last year.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble. I'm not going to say they're in trouble. I think they're definitely worried a little bit. Reason why, like you said, they bought Jimmy Garoppolo back for a reason. That also didn't spell well. Now you're missing Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell gets injured in the game. He's out for 8 weeks. The reason why quarterbacks have had success is because they've always had somebody to hand it off to that was really good in the backfield. Losing Elijah Mitchell is going to hurt, puts more pressure on Trey Lance. I think they're slightly worried. I think this week would be interesting to see. Not a monsoon, hopefully.
I'm looking to see who they play. They play the Seahawks in San Francisco, so
that's a good one.
That's a good get well game, considering that Seattle played their Super Bowl on Monday. All right, here we go. How about you, Braylon? How you feeling about the AFC West after Week 1? 2 wins, 2 losses.
You know what? Indifferent. Indifferent, and here's why. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I still feel good about the AFC West in terms of what we said about them potentially being able to get in 4 teams. 3, most people picked, and then maybe 4 teams. Chargers played a good game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders had a chance to win that game, so you don't want to take too much away from them. Chargers now losing Keenan Allen. That one's going to hurt. We talked about why Keenan Allen wasn't a $30 million receiver. What was the biggest concern?
Injuries.
He's always injured. I love him. He's the most underrated receiver in the NFL. However, the man stays healthy. I wish you a speedy recovery. But they look good to a certain extent. The Raiders didn't look as bad. The Broncos will get that cleaned up. And then the Chiefs. Oh, my God. I think as good as the Chiefs look, they make up for how the other ones kind of looking different. So I'll stay same.
And it was going to be the best they could do was 3-1, Maz.
Right.
So really the only thing that you talk about is the Denver Broncos losing to Seattle. Is that a shock? But then you do have to give the Broncos a little bit of something. Maybe you do or you don't. I don't care. But Seattle, this was their Super Bowl.
It was.
I mean, all off season since Russell Wilson was traded to Denver, and then the schedule comes out. They're playing Week 1. I mean, this is everything that you put towards that. All the fans. It was,
And the Raiders played a tough game against the Chargers, so I take my hat off to the Raiders. So
absolutely.
I would say they're status quo.
Yep.
And last one for today, I'm going to talk about Tampa Bay. First, I want to put up the Gisele Bundchen tweet. She finally spoke out and kind of said what was bothering her. She just wants her husband, Tom Brady, to be more present in their family. She says, I don't begrudge him. She did not go to the game, but she did give him a well wish on Twitter, if you guys saw that.
I did not see this interview, Maz. Did you see it?
It was a written, I read the written version of it.
I'd like him to be more present. I have definitely had those conversations with him over and over again. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, I'm just saying that she looks like she is maybe back in his corner.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you.
So I'm going to ask you about the Buccaneers now. Mm-hmm. She's back in his corner. We talked about women weaken legs, the whole Rocky thing. Do you think Tampa Bay, after their win against Dallas, they throttled them? I mean, the Dallas defense did okay against that Tampa wide receivers and Leonard Fournette. Okay, over 100 yards, but that defense really was the game changer.
If I may, when we did our football picks at the beginning of the year, I said the Tampa Bay Bucs were going to win the Super Bowl. I have that, and I feel confident after Week 1 that they will be the NFC representatives at the very least, because I think the best team in the NFC right now that I've seen is the Minnesota Vikings.
Shocking. Who told you about those guys?
You did. But what I'm trying to say is, if I got one game to go to the Super Bowl, and it's Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins, when you have this in your hand, what do you see over here? Nothing. I'm picking Tom Brady over Kirk Cousins in a one-game championship game.
Tampa's fine. Actually, Tampa's even more than fine. Actually, Tampa's even great. And the reason why they are that way, their defense played at the level that we saw them when they won the Super Bowl. We saw that playoff run. They were lights out. One of the best playoff runs from a defense that we've ever seen. They're back in that form, moving that direction. Also, Leonard Fournette, being able to run the ball like that, control and dominate the clock, that spells well when you get later into the year. And oh, by the way, there was a guy in that game who's the greatest of all time. He had a lot on his mind. But in the words of Borat, Queen in the Castle, Giselle's back in the castle.
Look
Time's
at that,
on fire,
baby. Go Bucks! Hey, we're going to do
Braylon's Breakdown.
Braylon's Breakdown. Look at that.
We are doing coverage of the week, and this coverage of the week is sponsored to you by Swiss Insurance. Do me a favor if you can, Flex, throw that on up there so we can talk about this breakdown of the Michigan Wolverines and JJ McCarthy, the offensive line, and the Hawaii Warriors. You see the coverage right here? I'll say it from here. See the coverage right now? You got 5 guys in the box. Well, 6 guys in the box. They're in the box, 6 guys, because they know they can run the ball. You got Blake Corum, number 2 over there, but J.J. McCarthy is a guy that can run out of the backfield. The RPO is amazing. That's why they're bunched up. That's why the coverage looks like this pre-snap. Give me the next one, Flex. See the pre-snap now, on the post-snap now, it's not a run play. JJ drops back. Everybody drops back, but you're going to see a creep out. You can't see the rest of it on this play. This is a play in which you see the little spot right there. You're going to see the guard kick out the defensive end. Blake Corum's going to come right up under there, catch the ball right here, and he goes for about 20 yards. That is brought to you by Swiss Insurance. Let Mark be the guy to get you paid.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey guys, it's time for you to outkick your coverage right here on Woodward Sports, the Woodward Sports Network, giving you a chance to sit front row for this Sunday's Detroit-Washington football game down at Ford Field. That's right. We're looking for, I hate using this word, but we're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl.
That's terrible.
All right? It is what it is.
Oh, it's good.
So, fellas, if you know you have outkicked your coverage, here's your chance, and we got some pictures to show you.
Gorgeous.
I mean,
oh my God.
This is
Please.
The guy's not bad looking. He really isn't.
No.
But she is outstanding.
Where's his hand?
There are other pictures as well. So this is what you got to do, guys. Post a picture of you and your superior looking partner on Twitter or Instagram, and with the hashtag Woodward Front Row. That's all you got to do. But you got to follow us, of course, and tag at Woodward Sports. Hurry up, because we're going to be selecting the winner this Saturday, September the 16th. Outkick your coverage. Send us those pictures, guys.
I mean, she gorgeous. My goodness.
Gorgeous.
Ryan was daydreaming of JJ.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Mike G. No doubt about it. Maz, I know you're very excited about this. And I think as a baseball...
I texted you last night.
Yeah, you did. I think as a baseball fan, you're pretty excited about it, too. All rise. The judge had 2 more last night against the Bo Sox, ultimately helping them win.
Yeah.
Hit the second home run to tie it up in the 8th.
Yeah.
And then ultimately they went on to win 7-6 in extras, nearly blowing
Barely.
it. But
Yeah.
I did.
Gleyber Torres with a 3-run double.
Right, exactly.
And then they hung on for dear life. They have closer by committee. The New York Yankees have closer by committee. They cannot win unless they get Chapman back, and he is at peak And you know what happened to him? He got a tattoo, and it was infected.
Infected by the ink.
But look, read that Aaron Judge stat for me.
So Aaron Judge, 57 home runs, now has 20 more homers than anyone else in Major League Baseball. Kyle Schwarber has 37 homers. It's the first time a player will finish a calendar day with a 20 home run lead since the last day of the 1928 season when Babe Ruth led Jim Bottomley and Hack Wilson by 23 homers, and that courtesy of the Elias Sports.
Isn't that something?
Reporting.
This
network.
guy is 4 home runs away from tying Roger Maris with 20 games to play. And they're all going to be good, tough games because they are fighting for their lives in this playoff run. They did get a game. They gained a game on Tampa last night. So they kind of have a comfortable lead with 20 to go. They're 6 up. They'll probably win the AL East, but they've got to get some guys back, especially Rizzo. Rizzo's got to come back.
Rizzo.
Stanton is back now, but he's got to start hitting again. But he is protecting Judge because most of the time they got to pitch the Judge. Last night in the 10th, they put up 4 fingers and walked him. That's because they had a perfect spot on the bases for him. But the Yankees need these guys to come back. Otherwise, they have no chance. And, of course, the Dodgers, we told you, they clinched the division. They are just an amazing juggernaut. And guess what? The Tigers were officially eliminated from the playoffs with last night's loss. They are sitting 54 and 88 on the year, 34 under.
I can't. Oh, sorry, Brian.
Tigers were eliminated after game 2. That's neither here nor there. Going back to Aaron Judge, I didn't get what you guys said. Did you guys say that he was going to break the record? Did you guys vote?
We didn't say it. We said he's 4 away.
Oh, are we going to predict? Do you guys?
Yeah, I think he breaks it.
He's going to break it.
Where do you think he finishes?
62.
65.
Yeah.
No. 20 games?
8 homers, yeah.
All right, yeah.
He's got 9 in the last 10 games.
Yeah. I hope they pitch to him. I hope he's got an opportunity to do it. But when they asked him, and he never wants to talk about this record, he's so down to earth.
Nobody does.
Talk about a guy that bet on himself, though, right?
He did. This is his walk year.
It's incredible. Incredible. He could get out of there.
So he said the real record is Barry Bonds. 70. What does he have? 72.
And it
72.
Yeah.
Here's a good question though. I don't think we're sticking with Aaron Rodgers. You say you don't?
No.
What's the record then?
Hank Aaron. 755. Well, you mean the regular record? I would go with Mark McGwire. What did McGwire finish with? Him and Sosa.
Oh, so why do you count his and not Barry Bonds?
Because he's white, Braylon.
Thank you. No, I'm joking. I didn't say that one. That was him.
Roger Maris has the record at 61.
Speaking of white guys, what's up with Brett Favre, man? What's up with Brett Favre?
We missed Brett Favre, didn't we?
What's up? No, we're gonna talk about now. What's up with Brett Favre, man?
What's up with Brett Favre?
I just don't understand.
Cheating the system.
No, not only cheating the system. Like Brett Favre
for his daughter.
No, it wasn't. That was a last minute. Once he found out he got. Now he said, "I'm gonna give all the money there to build the volleyball center."
This is terrible, man.
Like this is the one thing about it. I won't even go to white black. I won't even go there. I'll just go to it as a human being. This is a horrible thing.
Tell people what he did.
The state he defrauded the welfare system of I wrote it down. He defrauded the government welfare system that is in place for those that are less fortunate in the state of Mississippi. Mississippi is the worst well-off state.
Yeah. They're the poorest state.
They're the poorest state
in
all
terrible.
50 of them.
He and the former governor
For
did
you
this.
to take money from that state, from anybody personally, but from that state, as poor as they are, as much as they struggle. You see Dion right now lobbying online to get free, fresh and clean water because of all the floods and all the bad that they got going on.
Yeah.
And you got a guy that's made $138 million. I'll say it again. $138 million is what Brett Favre made over his career, and that's just on the football field. For him to do something like this, man, that's just low. That's just a low human being,
It's
man.
lower than low.
You just don't do things like that. And guess what? He's not in jail right now. Meanwhile, all the individuals from the NBA scandal that defrauded the health department, all the NFL guys that defrauded the health department, they all got arrested and then they got out. This guy's still not getting out and doesn't want to pay. He's just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy.
Terrible stuff there. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a terrible guy.
Braylon, get us out of here, bud.
Screw Brett Favre.
We'll see you on Thursday, everybody. So long, Ermanni, Edwards, Maz, Fletch, Jeremy, Adam Morency in the house today. We appreciate his support and everybody in the back. Thank you. Like the show. Subscribe to Woodward Sports.
Hire Adam.
Screw you, Brett Favre.
JJ McCarthy for president.
I got to go dream about JJ now.